Welcome to Mrs. Harrington's art class. Today we're going to be creating a similar image to Joan Miro's constellations. Now, Joan Miro worked in very many creative surrealist ways, and it was very abstract, but it had a lot of meaning. So for today, I'm going to ask that you have a piece of paper. If a printer paper works just really, really well. He worked in different thicknesses of line. So if you have Sharpies or colored pencils or crayons, go with black. He worked a lot in like black and white. And then I would like you to have at least 3 colors. I pulled out 4. Joan Miro, if you looked at his constellations in the link, you'll see that he used primarily the primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, but he also used green in a lot of his work. So today, I'm going to go ahead and start you off on what you're going to do first. And then I'm going to show you, because it will take you some time, I'll get that to focus, I'm going to go ahead and show you my example. So what I'm going to do is to start off, I like to start with a very thin black line. I'm going to go ahead and create a line on the paper. I'm going to make one kind of that looks like this. This will be my starting point. And if you look at some of his shapes, he used the natural shape that was left. And if you're looking at some of his symbols, he added to this original line. So let's take a look at the pattern that he would often put. He would use these beautiful spirals, and he might add some deep lines to it. And you're going to start to see, as we work on our piece, that some of his patterns, and you can use the symbol sheet that I've shared with you. Some of his patterns here have places here. We're talking about positive and negative spaces, and he would fill those in. Now, this is going to take you some time. I'm highly recommending that you pause the video, you create your image, and then add color later. So I'm going to leave you off with this image, and let me show you one that I've already started. This has taken me a while. This is not a 5-minute thing, but you'll see I went in, let me just move this so you can see it better. I went in and I started that large shape. This was my original shape. And it kind of curved around and ended here. Now, Joan Miro really liked to use like curlicues and springs. And you can see in the background I added another one, kind of around the back. And I ended with a little star shape there. Now, this is going to take you time. This is not something you do very quickly. And so I invite you to continue adding so you get this nice starry sky look. I'm just going to keep it simple for you for our video, and I'll keep going for like another minute or so. You can use some of the patterns that I'm using because I am using the symbol sheet that was shared with you, and some of his shapes kind of have these like abstract shapes. He used to really enjoy organic shapes with some very strong lines coming off of it. Spirals were another one that he used frequently. He really liked the use of bars with like almost like a barbell shape. And you can keep going. He would add organic shapes. Sometimes those shapes would have like stripes in them, or they would be added on to another circle. One of his patterns would be to add, as if we're looking at, say, Orion's belt, and he would add in these circles. And I'll do one large, and maybe another one large. And then he'll go in and frequently, if you look at his image, he'll sometimes color in 1/2. I'm going to switch sides just to make it interesting. I'll do 2 on one side, 2 on the other, almost in a pattern. And then he did really use these large blocks of black. Remember, we were looking at positive and negative spaces that kind of draw the eye. And I'll finish these last two. And I'm going to show you the one that I started a little bit earlier. This takes a long time, but the finished product is really beautiful. Alright, so I'm going to fill in this last shape here with some color. Maybe I'll just add one or two stars here. There we go. And I'll put one over here maybe. This one I'm going to keep open. Alright, so this is kind of the start of my starry sky. And I'm going to go ahead and start with red. Red was a color that he used frequently. And I'm going to just add a little bit of color. And you'll notice that with the white background, it gives a lot of attention to these shapes that we put on the outside. I'm going to make all of those red, and maybe I'll make the other ones yellow. Nice contrast. And he didn't color everything though. If you notice in his drawings and his paintings, he frequently just added color to a few things to draw the eye around the paper. And if you look at the shape that I did here, this shape here draws the eye up here to this corner, but now it brings it back down, kind of hugs it around here, and then brings my eye back into the center of the picture again. And I think I'm going to go ahead and maybe add a little blue up here. Okay. Maybe I'll give him a pattern here. Now, I'm going to go back to my original drawing that I had started before I started recording this. I'm going to go in now, add color, because I got to take the time to go in here, and I'm going to use that contrast to draw the eye, just like the shapes draw the eye across the paper. Blocks of color can draw the eye as well. So even this shape right here that I'm coloring, you'll see that it has a point on this side and has a point on this side, and it's drawing the eye in this direction. And then this one will continue to draw the eye back in a circle, and you can see this slight curve brings the eye back to here. And so my constant shift of moving it back to the beginning, and just a few pops of color will be enough to bring this picture to life. Now, if you're lucky enough, you might have some, you'll have some more space to actually add 4 colors. I was thinking about just adding a little bit of green, and I was thinking about putting it in, this green is dry, let me get it on, add a little bit more of contrast, not just of shape, but also color. Red and green are opposing colors, and I thought this, there we go, this might be a little nice to get this shift of color just ever slightly. It doesn't have to be everything. Now, if you have more time, you could always go back in and add other shapes. You can continue to add to your own drawing. And what's fun about this is that you don't have to have Sharpies. You can use crayons, colored pencils. Even a regular pencil works amazing. A regular pencil with colored pencils. I chose to use a little bit of marker because it's really dark and you can see it on the video. but actually it's really interesting if you're able to start going in and adding more to the layers of your artwork. And I'm just going to color one last one because I think this is all the art I need. I mean, all the color I need in my art piece. And here is my constellation. So, I'm inviting you to add as much color and as much detail, or to keep it as simple as what we started with. So, I'm leaving it up to you to be creative.